today I'm on my way to the Natural History Museum to see if I have a fear of spiders. I've glanced over the just info about this museum. I think it reads that like they just let them out a month prior and then let them do their thing and build their homes, which I think is kind of tight. If this is true, if they're just like, yeah, we let out this big ass spider somewhere and it made its home here and now you get to pay us money to come see its work, I think that's tight. There's something artistic about that. Another thing that the website said was that the spiders are potentially dangerous. That's the number one thing that sets me off about spiders is, you know, I used to read the animal books and watch the Animal Planet movies or TV shows, and like there's a non-zero amount of spiders that if they bite you, you could potentially die, and there's a non-zero amount of spiders that if they bite you, you become Spider-Man. I'm kind of down to run that gamble, by the way. Do spider heads come to this museum, or are there like more dedicated venues for spider enthusiasts? That's what I would also want to know. Like, is this passé if you're a spider head? If I show up to the spider museum and I get spooked by the spiders, like, are the real spider heads gonna be like, this guy's a fake? I hope my Sunday isn't ruined by the fact that like I went to the spider museum, shit myself, and all the spider heads were like, this guy's a phony. So when you get to the Natural History Museum, it's almost like an amusement park. There's a parking structure that you go through, and then there's different buildings all with activities going on. So there was like one screening movies, and then there was the like Natural History Museum. The connecting tissue between these or all these buildings is kind of almost a park. I think it's that way. You could go there and kind of do whatever you want within it, because I saw people like having picnics. I saw people kind of partying, people were doing photo shoots, and it was really fun just to like kind of walk around and be like, oh, that's what you're using this place for. Oh, that's what you're using this place for. That's tight. Also, when you buy your ticket, I did not know this, it's a timed event. So I ended up coming here like an hour before the scheduled time that I'm allowed to see the spiders. So I'm kind of just like walking around. The Natural History Museum at LA is so huge. It's ginormous. It's kind of insane, Chad. You have to go. It's kind of sick. I accidentally walked into the dinosaur museum because I thought that's where the spiders were. Like in the distance, you can see that the spider museum is like over there. So I'm just kind of chilling, waiting for my 3:30 ticketed appointment. When you get in there, it's kind of like, it is basically a greenhouse. If you've ever been to like a plant nursery, it's not massive. It is humid. It is hell in there. Rather quick to walk through the whole thing if you needed to do that. The group that I went in there with, as well as even myself, if I'm being honest, we kind of glanced around and all kind of had the same sentiment of like, is this it? And then one of the tour guides came up to us and was kind of like, oh, you dumb fucks. She didn't say that, but she was definitely thinking that, because she said something to the effect of like, you guys have to kind of acclimate to the area, then you have to train your spider vision. And I took it at face value because I was like, fuck it. So after about 10 seconds of just standing there, like, I'm not kidding you, we all jumped at the same time because we realized the spiders were actually all around us the whole time.
How often do you guys read them?
Like every other day.
And when we all had like a collective grasp, the tour guide who was thinking we were dumb fucks was like, yeah, you know, the spiders don't want to be seen. It's like disadvantageous for their lives. The most fascinating part of the enclosure is like, there's no cages separating the spiders. It's, you are right there with them. Like, aside from common sense, there was really nothing stopping anybody from just going like right up to the spider and being like, oh yeah, that's a spider. One of the roles of the tour guides there was to answer stupid questions from tourists like myself. And one of the kids was like, why aren't the spiders moving? And the tour guide who was not having much fun with us, probably thinking like, did you want them to start dancing or something, said something to the effect of like, yeah, they don't really move much. They post up where they make their home and then they start spinning a web, and they really only move when something triggers the webs. One of the other tour guides' job, it was to feed the spiders.
So she was carrying around this box of like massive flies and using like, I think they're called forceps or something, like massive tweezers. She would take one of these poor bastards out and then like honestly just like subject them to the spider in the web. Kind of cruelly to me, they just like shoved it near the spider and like act like shook the web a little bit, which the spider that was in it, which was not moving at all, moved so quickly and just like grabbed the fly. Sorry if the footage looks bad, by the way. I'm using an old Samsung camcorder and it doesn't like autofocus very well, so I had to like figure that out in real time, and you can see me not figuring it out in real time. I did this thing where I would go find a big spider and then go back to the beginning of the enclosure where there's like a legend of all the types of spiders that are there. And I think I saw mostly this type of spider, which I think is the California orb weaver. I did see this guy, despite the fact that I did not at all feel like scared in the space. There's one specific moment when I'm trying to like get one of these like selfie shots where I start to feel something on my neck, and I am actively trying not. I'm telling myself, be chill, be chill. Nobody else is freaking out in here. Just be chill. Thankfully, it was just most of my hair going like this and blowing in the wind. Even when I was about to leave, there were these California orb weavers, these big guys, and a little baby chilling by the door. And I overheard like what I thought was one of the more interesting things from the tour guides.
If I, even a spider freak, I work here, if I go into my shower and there's a spider and it's 8 a.m. and I'm not ready for it, I'm gonna be a little, I'm gonna jump. Because I'm like, where did you go?
Which I thought was interesting because it's like, oh, okay, so even these people who, well, there's a whole spectrum. I assume some of them are like, I'm even fine. I have some at home and I'm fine if they're crawling on me. But like some of them whose job it is to actively engage with spiders, they're like, yeah, you know, this is a place where there's an agreed upon, we've agreed like, hey, you guys are over here and your guys are over here and we're over here just walking around you. So long as we don't like mess with your space, you won't mess with ours. Before you leave the enclosure, they also ask you to check yourself to make sure you don't bring any of them with you. And yes, I did thoroughly pat myself down because I was like, this is the agreed upon space. Everything is safe in here, even if it's all just mental. If I had brought one of these guys outside with me, I think that would have broken like the spell and I would have been like, we are not okay anymore. Did I leave this experience with like way more comfortability with spiders and a newfound respect for them? Yes. Would I now destroy any spider on site if I saw them in my room or my apartment? No. Because
I would probably let them stay as long as they were out of my way, because then they'll eat like flies. That's everyone says you should keep them around. It's just keep one or two.
And I think I hate flies and mosquitoes way more than I do spiders. So, you know, it's more of a quid pro quo type deal. Like, hey, you can borrow that space over there if you do your job, and I'll continue to just do my job over here. That said, there is this like interstitial room between like the actual enclosure and the outside. And in that like transitionary room, there's like these little, there's the normal glass, you know, pet store cases. And inside of them was like this massive tarantula named Flicker. And it did dawn on me that like, even though I had a newfound respect for spiders and was like, we're good here. If I did see a tarantula like in my room, I would leave him alone. I would leave him alone, you know, because you probably have some sort of job to do, but I would leave that lease as quickly as I possibly could and just be like, that's all yours now.